Today, we're going to dive into the story of a figure who is just the absolute pinnacle of strength, service, and devotion in Hindu mythology, Lord Hanuman. We're going to trace his journey all the way from a mischievous little kid with godlike power to a devotee with a truly divine purpose. And his story really starts with a fundamental question. But to really get a handle on his story, we have to start with a big question. What does the ultimate form of devotion actually look like? Is it about grand gestures, quiet service, or is it maybe something else entirely? For millions and millions of people all over the world, the answer to that question is just one name, Hanuman. His entire life is seen as a masterclass in what it means to serve selflessly. Now, while Hanuman is definitely known as a symbol of immense strength and protection, his most defining characteristic, the thing that truly makes him who he is being the supreme devotee of Lord Rama. He's a huge character in the epic Ramayana, and he's revered by anyone looking to overcome some kind of obstacle. But his origins, they're even deeper. He's considered an avatar of Lord Shiva himself, sent to Earth to help Lord Vishnu's human incarnation, Rama. And get this, references to a divine monkey figure can be found in texts as ancient as the Rig Veda. But here's the thing. Before he was this great devotee, he was a child, a very, very powerful and mischievous child. His early years are just filled with these stories that explain both his incredible abilities and his very, human-like flaws. Hanuman's got this really unique divine parentage. His mother was a celestial nymph who was born as a Vanara, or monkey princess named Anjana. And through a divine boon, Vayu, the god of the wind, became his spiritual father. And that's why he's often called Vayuputra, the son of the wind, which kind of gives you a hint about his incredible speed and power. This next story is actually how he got his name. As a kid, he woke up one morning just ravenously hungry. He sees the rising sun, thinks it's a giant piece of fruit, and just leaps up into the sky to go eat it. To stop him, Indra, the king of the gods, hurls his thunderbolt at him. The bolt hits him on his chin, or Hanu in Sanskrit, and that's where he gets the name Hanuman, which literally means disfigured jaw. Well, his father, Vayu, was so furious about this that he literally took all the air from the world in protest. So to calm him down and, revive the child, all the major gods gathered around and gave Hanuman these incredible powers, or boons. Brahma gave him the ability to change his form whenever he wanted. Agni made him totally immune to fire. And his own father, Vayu, blessed him with speed greater than the wind itself. But here's the twist. With all this power, young Hanuman became a total prankster. He was using his abilities to harass sages and mess up their meditations. Finally, one of them got so angry that he put a curse on him. Hanuman would completely forget the extent of his own divine powers until someone reminded him of them at a time of great need. And that curse, funnily enough, is what channeled all his boundless energy. Without the memory of his own immense power, Hanuman stops playing pranks and turned his focus to knowledge. And that set him on the path to finding his true purpose. And who did he pick for a teacher? You're not going to believe it. Surya, the sun god, yep, the very same one he tried to eat as a kid. And his dedication was just incredible. He flew backwards in front of the sun's speeding chariot, just absorbing all this knowledge about scriptures, philosophies, and the arts. For his payment, his guru Dakshina, he made a promise that would change his life, to serve and protect Surya's son, the Vanara prince Sugriva. And it was that promise that eventually led him right to Lord Rama. This is the moment everything changes. This is where the forgetful scholar rediscovers the sleeping giant inside him, all in the service of a divine mission. So, fast forward years later, Hanuman is helping Rama search for his kidnapped wife Sita. The whole Vanara army gets to the edge of the southern ocean. They can see Lanka, the island fortress of the demon king Ravana, way across the water. But nobody can figure out how to cross that huge distance. It was at this crucial moment that the Bear King Jambavan took Hanuman aside and reminded him of his forgotten powers, of who he really was. And with his memory restored, boom, Hanuman's full power was just unleashed. He grew to the size of a mountain, to leap across the entire ocean in one single bound. Then he shrank himself down to the size of an ant to sneak through Ravana's city, find Sita, and give her hope. And before he left, he set a huge part of the city on fire with his tail, just to send a very clear message to the Demon King. But maybe his most famous feat of all happened during the Great Battle. Rama's brother, Lakshman, was badly wounded, and Hanuman was sent to find a specific life-saving herb, the Sanjivani, on a mountain in the Himalayas. He got to the mountain but couldn't identify the exact plant. So, what did he do? He just lifted the entire mountain and carried it all the way back to the battlefield. I mean, that just perfectly captures his devotion, right? When in doubt, go way, way above and beyond. But as absolutely incredible as his physical strength was, the real essence of Hanuman, his true core, lies in the depth of his devotion. The power was just a tool. The purpose was always selfless service. There's this amazing story. They say that after the war, Hanuman wrote his own version of the Ramayana, engraving the whole tale on rocks in the Himalayas using just his fingernails. When the sage Valmiki, the author of the official Ramayana, saw it, he was just stunned by its poetic perfection. And he got sad because he knew his own masterpiece would be completely overshadowed. So Hanuman sees Valmiki's sadness, and without a second thought, he just smashes the rocks, completely destroying his own superior version. For him, the act of honoring Rama was what mattered, not getting famous for being the one who wrote about it. This also explains why you so often see his idols painted that bright vermilion red. The story goes that he saw Sita applying the red powder to her hairline. He asked her why she did it, and she said it was for the long life and well-being of her husband Rama. And Hanuman, in his beautiful, pure-hearted logic, just thought, well, if a tiny pinch of that powder does so much good, I should do more. And he covered his entire body in it. The ultimate proof of his devotion, though, came when someone kind of mockingly asked him if Rama and Sita were really in his heart. Without any hesitation, Hanuman just tore open his chest with his claws, and to everyone's absolute shock, they saw the living image of Rama and Sita enshrined right there inside his heart. His devotion wasn't just some external show, it was the very core of his being. But Hanuman's service didn't just stop with the Ramayana, not even close. Because of his unparalleled devotion, he was granted a unique boon that ensures his story and his presence continues right through the ages. He's known as a Chiranjeevi, which literally means immortal. He's one of 7 beings in Hinduism who are believed to be living on Earth right now and will continue to live until the very end of this cosmic age, the Kali Yuga, forever chanting the name of Ram. And this isn't just a theory. He actually makes an appearance thousands of years later in a totally different epic, the Mahabharata. He meets the mighty warrior Bhim, who's his spiritual brother, and teaches him a really important lesson in humility. And during that great war, he secretly sat on the flag of Arjuna's chariot, protecting it from these devastating celestial weapons that would have otherwise vaporized it in an instant. So the story of Hanuman, from a powerful, forgetful kid to an immortal symbol of devotion, it kind of suggests that true strength isn't just about what you can do, but why you do it. And it leaves us with a pretty profound question for ourselves. If service really is the highest expression of love, what mountain would you carry for your cause?